Hey y'all, you ever weeded near the outhouse? Good thing it's not a functioning one, right? Probably a rare occurrence, even for East Texas. Old sunflowers are looking good, aren't they? They won't be long, they'll be way taller than I am and putting on those pretty yellow flowers. Reckon they know they're planted next to an outhouse? I doubt it. They're blooming where they planted. They'll come on up and make us some sunshine out here. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Nature just needs a few requirements to get going. It's not picky about where all it's planted sometimes. It just makes happiness all the same. Been a little while since I've been on Friday, I guess. Good Friday. Celebrated Easter. Had a good time with Mom and Dad and celebrating our risen Lord. But got to thinking, looking at those sunflowers and realizing they're next to an old outhouse in East Texas. Probably not your typical spot that you'd find them, but they're growing right along as they come up. It's a funny thing about happiness. I heard tell of an old speaker that was giving a talk for a couple of hundred folks, and he decided to show them a thing or two. So he passed out balloons and passed some markers around. Everybody wrote their name on a balloon. He gathered them up, put them in a different room, and directly took everybody in there and told them they had 5 minutes to find the balloon with their name on it. Well, obviously that didn't go too well, and nobody was able to find their balloon in 5 minutes. So he changed it up and he said, well, just grab your balloon and go find the person that's name is written on it and give them their balloon. Well, in pretty short order, the task was complete and everyone was holding the balloon that they'd written their name on. Taught a lesson about happiness. I think it's happening all around us. We run at it and run at it and run at it, try to find it, but it really don't work as good until you give it away and make somebody else happy, and lo and behold, you find your own, don't you? Thought that was pretty cool. So that's what them sunflowers are going to do in their own little way. About 6 of them, and put up them big old yellow flowers, and we'll all smile and think they're pretty. They give away a little happiness. Did another teaching episode this afternoon, Jordan and I did, on the food chain. That was interesting. We'll upload that on YouTube probably tomorrow. All the chickens are doing good. Getting close to hatch date if it's going to happen with the eggs under that mama. I've been candling them, as y'all know. We going through it first time together, so lots of learning. I think I had 15 or 16, 18 eggs, something along there, but not all of them obviously we're going to make. So we've culled through, and she's down to about 8 in there, but we might see a couple come along. Ben's Leghorns are getting after it with the big ladies. Let's see here. They're always changing this app. But they think there's something else, don't they? We've been able to avoid the chicken hawk, and we're watching them pretty close. But I don't think they realize how small they are. They get right in there with them big hens. Been getting some produce from local store, and these old hens have had a smorgasbord of vegetables. Of course, if y'all do that, do a little research, there's a few things they don't need to eat. Avocados is one, and green potatoes. Don't want to give them that. That kind of stuff can kill them pretty quick. But other than that, the greens and all, they're really loving that. I'm about to go in here and see if they can outdo yesterday's 26 eggs they gave us. So I don't know. Usually it comes in cycles. They'll do about 17 or 18, and then they'll pour one on the next day and then take a break. But we'll see. Jordan and I are about to go get us something to eat. Been a pretty good week. Hope y'all have had a good one. Got a lot of bad storms this week. We had a 5-pot storm hit us last night here at the house. 5 tubs. I thought it was 4 tubs, so I talked to Jordan this morning. We got a 1/2 inch. And the reason it's 4 tubs or 5 tubs is because of the leaks. This old house, an old roof on it, it don't leak at every rainstorm, and it doesn't even have to be a big one. It just, if the wind's just right, we'll have a little drip or two in the house. And depending on how many it is, that's how we label it. Most time it's only a one potter or one tubber. Last night it got on up. But in time we'll get that fixed too. It's not other than just the inconvenience, we're making sure it's not hurting any of the interior. But that's part of it. 100 years old, what do you expect, right? I think that roof's probably 35 years old. But I may have to go full out East Texan and put a tarp on it. I got a gray one, so maybe it'll match a little bit. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You get done what you can get done, right? Well, let me do a quick roll call, and I see hunger pains on Jordan's face there. He's ready to go eat. Hey Ray, how you doing, bud? Good to see you checking in. There's Karen. Yeah, we made it through all the weather. Our friends up in San Augustine had a rough night in Alto a couple of weekends ago. And of course, all over the South this time of year is rough. You just kind of have to hunker down and prepare for the worst and expect the best. So that's all we can do. Prayers for those that had a really bad day yesterday and having one today. It hits you all of a sudden and can be life-changing. But just kind of have to bloom where you planted, like that old sunflower. Pick it up and move on. That's been a hard lesson for me to learn, but have to learn it sometimes. There's my Aunt Pat. How are you? Love you. There's Emily up in Tennessee. Dolores, thank you. Said I do. Hudson's doing good. He's a chicken eater, so he's in a little bit more restricted supervision these days. In fact, I just let him out in the backyard, and if I'm back there with him, he won't jump the fence. But boy, if you turn your head, he's gone in a flash, and there's a chicken on the ground somewhere. So I let him out and play through the day occasionally. Wish we could change it, but just one of those things. It's nature. There's Dorothy. Thank you for that, Dorothy. My buddy Manuel's on. How are you, bud? There's Miss Donna. Yeah. Saw your video of your garden the other day. That looked nice. Glad to see you sharing some of that. There's my good friend Melinda up in Oregon. Yeah, the chickens are doing good. There's Miss Charlotte down Trinity Way. And Kelly, good to see you. Got some rain here in historic Fort Stockton. Yeah, fertilized and wasn't looking forward to drag hoses to water it in. Yeah, well, it sure come a good rain last night. There's North Carolina with Patricia. How are you? And Susan. Just popping in to say howdy. Company from out of town. Good stuff. Good stuff. There's Miss Donna and my good friend Chris. How are you? The Cajun Pirate. Miss Margaret's on. We do have to remember to turn the light on. That's right. Dolores and Judy. Good to see you. Emily just took the tarp off the roof 2 weeks ago. Well, see, some people are forced into it with storms and all. I guess there ain't no shame in it. It's getting it done. Ain't no difference in putting asphalt up there, right? It's just another material. Maybe it don't look proper for some of the homeowners association, but I don't reckon tents did back in the day either. But they got it done. You do what you got to do and work with what you got to work with. I'm needing it to dry out just a little bit. I hate to even say that word because it's going to do it soon enough, but I got weeds in the garden. I forgot about that. It looked all pretty nice and teal, but now you got to get a little bit more picky with it. But all the peas are up. Cream crowders are struggling a little bit. I don't know if it was quite hot enough. I'm doing a lot of gap planting on those. But we do have some weeds to contend with. This old pasture, all them roots, wasn't able to get all of them out, so they're sending up volunteers and shoots all over the place trying to rob that minerals from them plants. So I call them nutrient robbers. We just take it out. I kind of got overwhelmed with it because they just come up all of a sudden with this rain, and we got 1,600-foot rows out here, and hand tools just don't do it like it needs to be in that close quarters. But I've decided just to calm down and take it one row at a time, maybe two, and we'll knock it out, and the plants are getting up big enough for where they'll take care of their own cover. But anyway, it'll get done. But everything's looking good. All right. Oh, that's good, Chris. I saw some posts about that. Yeah, it's gonna start on their old home place. Good stuff. There's kind of got some dry chicken manure last night. How should I use around my vegetables? Well, first of all, make sure it's not fresh. You need that stuff's pretty hot in nitrogen. Depends on what you're putting it on. There's a lot of tips and resources out there. I mix mine down pretty heavy, probably about a 10% mix. And if you're gonna dress it out, and there's bacteria in that stuff, you got to remember you got to let that sun cook it just a bit. But if you're gonna put it on your vegetables, you need to side dress those heels. Don't put it directly on the plants. It needs to cook down just a little bit. Not only can that nitrogen burn in plants, but it's just not good. There's a couple of hot composting methods that are available on YouTube if you look it up. And what I mean by hot composting, you mix a little straw and some bedding in it if you got it from the chicken house, and it'll cook down in a matter of a few weeks. But anyway, it's heavy nitrogen. It's super duper stuff, but you just got to use it sparingly. And I suggest doing a little Google search on it. There's a lot of tips and tricks on how to make that work. Well, to prove it, you can see on the edge here, I've got mine composting that I cleaned out from their bedding this winter right here. Let me turn it around. I have it in the garden, but it's cooked down now to where I can use it. Look how green that grass is next to it. Reminds me of that old story. What was it? Judy Blume wrote that. Green grass grows greener over the septic tank. Y'all remember that one? I think she wrote that. My sister will get me with her library knowledge if I don't get that right. Well, my dad's on. How are you, bud? Good to see him checking in. And there's Miss Joanne coming on. But all right, I think that's going to do it for the evening. Get in here and gather these eggs and call it a night, I guess, ahead of a work day tomorrow. All right, y'all have a good evening, and maybe be that sunflower by the outhouse and bloom where you planted. Spread a little happiness. Might find your balloon a little quicker that way, right? All right, y'all be the light. Have a good evening.